It's Logan Renee of the Soulkation Podcast, a place where you will learn how to shape your own success, how to get over situationships, and how to maximize your unique gifts. For more in-depth tools, head on over to loganrenee.com. Hi, everyone. I am here with Ramunda Young. She is the co-founder of the award-winning bookstore Mahogany Books in Washington, D.C. She was named Virginia's Leadership Top 10 Under 40, Empower Magazine's Empower Player, Potomac Local Top 40 Under 40, and awarded Commissioner of the Virginia Association of Human Rights. Welcome to the Soulkation Podcast.
Hey, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to this conversation.
I'm so excited to have you here. So, introduce us to the Ramunda before the awards.
Wow, that Ramunda before the awards. You know what? It's funny. That Ramunda is still here. It's still me. You know, I am from Oklahoma, proud to be a little country girl, but very metropolitan in Tulsa, where I'm from. So that same person, I'm proud to say it's still me before the awards, but was this little chocolate girl, very dark skinned, and always used to have this thing about, being too dark or being, my complexion or how other people perceived me because of my dark skin. And so that is something, I struggled with when I was younger, a lot younger, and going through middle school and high school, that people would say little things like, "You're pretty for a dark girl." And so you hear those things throughout your life, you start to wonder, like, wow, am I really that beautiful? Am I really that enough? Even though my parents are like, "Oh, you're fabulous." And so fast forward to all of the awards and things, there's always those moments where that little voice comes up in the back of your head, the back of your mind that says, "Hey, are you good enough? Are you, do you measure up?" And so before the awards, after the awards, during the awards, those type of things, they'll pop in your head, my head from time to time, but I've learned to be okay with that and embrace who I am. And, whether I'm dark skinned, whether I'm kind of loud at times, I've embraced that. And so that Ramunda is still there. It's still here. And I love her for who she is.
I love that. And I totally agree with you. I don't think I fell in love with my skin color until I was in my 20s. I never thought it was beautiful because you have your family telling you those things, but they look like you. Yes. So when other races are saying it or making comments, it's like, it's very hurtful. Mm-hmm. And until you walk into you know what, I'm great enough and this is who I am. And I love it. This is who I am. So I agree with you.
Yeah. And I've always been adventurous and a risk taker all of my life. And so I bring those pieces with me as well. So it's very multifaceted as most of us are. None of us are just this one trick pony, so to speak. We all come with layers to who we are, layers to our personality, layers to our fear, and layers to our vulnerabilities and all of that. So I bring all of that with me, even before the awards. That's who stands before me every day.
I love it. That's good. So tell us about the organization that you started on campus that has lasted for the past 20 years. That is amazing.
Oh, I know. It's very humbling. Very, very humbling. So I attended Langston University. I'm proud of my HBCU, actually back in Oklahoma. And all those years ago, I really, really crave connection. And I really, really crave authenticity. And I crave sisterhood. And so I kept thinking, it was the summertime, I kept thinking, when this school year starts, how can I bring all of these women together? Because what I noticed was, and it's not just on our campus, it's on college campuses everywhere, there's all these little factions, so to speak. You have the sororities, and I'm proud to be a part of Zeta Phi Beta, but you have all these different sororities on campus. You have all these different groups. And I felt that there was this kind of very dividing type of energy on campus. And I kept looking around like, well, we're all sisters. We're all Black. We're all, so why are we kind of pitting ourselves against one another? And that used to bother me. And so I kind of thought, how can I be a solution to that problem versus walking around and hearing people talking about each other? what could I do to kind of, help make a difference, help make an impact? And so I started going down the path of starting my own organization, coming up with a name, coming up with the logo and all that. And when you're on a college campus, there's certain rules when you have organizations and bylaws and all that you have to have. So I was like, wait a minute, I'm not doing bylaws and articles of incorporation, all that. So let me find an organization that I felt was representative of my ideals. And that was the National Council of Negro Women. I just was Googling online, women's organization, sisterhood. And I realized that they had a section. They don't call them chapters. They call them a section. They had a section for college students, and they were all on universities and colleges across the United States. So I thought, oh, here's my articles of incorporation, my bylaws. I can kind of, use theirs and be a part of that organization, but yet have it on a campus that had never had it before. And so I kind of roped in my younger sister, Renita, who was on campus with me. We were roommates. And we made flyers because I kept thinking, how am I going to get all these women to come out to our first meeting, and who's going to be interested? Are people going to think this is, whack or what? Another organization? And so we created all these little flyers, and we went dorm room to dorm room when the school year started and slid them under the door or taped them on the door, just saying, hey, we're having this big meeting in 2 weeks. Join us. It's all about sisterhood and honest conversations about how we can build and grow together. And we plastered the whole campus. And Logan, when I tell you, we had to set up, I found a great sponsor on campus, academic faculty member on campus who kind of was my advisor. And we had the meeting scheduled, and 200 women showed up. I will never forget that day because there was not enough seats. We were all on the floor. I mean, just rows and rows of women. It was beautiful. But what that let me know was two things. One, to always take a risk. It doesn't matter if it hasn't been done before or if I had never done it before. Just take the risk anyway, especially if it's something that I believed in. And I really believe in sisterhood. And then two, it alerted me that women crave connection. And so there were a lot of women there who were in sororities. There were a lot of women who were part of all these other organizations. But for them to come out that evening and be a part of something new, let me know that we are all looking for that type of space to come together and have a conversation. So that just really fueled my fire and passion to do the work that I do even to this day. But it was amazing. It was my last year of college. I wish I'd started it sooner. But we went into the community and we threw a baby shower for women who were, had kids while they were in college and didn't know how they would pay for some of the things that they did. We did face painting and went to the Baptist Student Union and helped kids there and collected food. Just so many things, and that really allowed us to come together for the greater good of our community. And it is still there to this day. And I'm actually going to my homecoming this year. I hadn't been in a little while, so it'll be fun to kind of see some of those courageous women who are still doing the work of the National Council of Negro Women. It was amazing.
I love that. It's just brilliant. So thank you.
Thank you. Absolutely.
So you have a brick and mortar in Washington, D.C. that started online. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. Mahogany Books.
If someone wants to have a brick and mortar, and they've been online, they're just afraid, what's the first thing you would tell them to do?
If they want to have a brick and mortar and they've been online, it sounds really cliche, but I would say do it. And that sounds so kind of probably shallow, but, and of course, do your research. But in addition to doing it, I would say build up your following. That's what we did. And we didn't know, we kind of stumbled upon that being the first step, was building our following, because from the inception of our business, we always wanted a brick and mortar. But we knew online was a way to kind of reach people from a global perspective. We could have low overhead and reach thousands of people just from our computers in our little 1-bedroom apartment. So my husband and I would be at our little computer, creating a website, which we had never done before. But I would say cultivate your following. And I say that because once you go into a brick and mortar store, people need to know that you are there. And the advantageous aspect of being online first allowed us to cultivate our following. We had an online social media space at one point, kind of like our own Facebook, but it was just for books on our website. So we were able to have conversations in chat rooms with different people who were interested in books, but we were cultivating a following. The other thing is we did a lot of events in the community. So I would suggest for your listeners, if you want to venture into brick and mortar, start doing things out in your community locally if you can. If there's a way to partner with organizations, do that. I know for us, we hosted author events and we partner with local libraries. We partner with local schools and local nonprofits just to be out in the community, getting that face time with people, because we were always behind our computers. And so then people would see us out there hosting an author event or selling books for an educator. And we were starting to build our email list at that time. So fast forward 11 years. I tell people we're the 11-year overnight success, but fast forward 11 years, and also God being very intentional and not allowing us to start that business when we thought we needed it. But when we opened our doors to our brick and mortar, all of those people we had been seeing and connecting with and meeting in the community, and publishers who we had started building a rapport with online and having authors being introduced to that way. When our doors opened, those thousands of people came with us and they supported us, and they've been there when we had our grand opening. They have spread the word about what we do, and we weren't new to them. Yes, we're, reaching a lot broader audience because we have a standalone, consistent space, but a lot of those people came with us. And that was over time, over year after year of being out in the community and making it a priority to connect with people face to face, even though we didn't have that brick and mortar. So I would tell them, I know I said a few things, but cultivate relationships face to face with people, no matter what that service or idea you have. There's a way to bring it in front of people right now, even if you partner with someone. 2 is cultivate your email list. Grow that whenever you're out in the community. Have a list there that you can gather people's names and you can start building a rapport with them through newsletters and letting them know about your event or where you'll be next. So those would be some of my initial steps that people need to take. But it's just do it. After you've amassed those contacts and that following, just step out there and do it. Yeah, do it. Make a mistake, fail, and then open up another one.
So what's one thing that you learned and that you would say, don't do this? Please don't do this.
Ooh, I'm trying to think which one not to do. So many things that we've done and we made a mistake and we're like, oh, we shouldn't have did that. Not to do. I think one of the biggest things is not to give your word if you cannot honor it. Because a lot of times when you're starting out, you want to say, oh, I can do this, I can do that, and make all these grand promises. And we did that at times sometimes. Oh, we can do this and we can facilitate this event with 500 people, 2,000 people. Well, no, there's a lot of thought and preparation that goes into some of those things. And we, let some people down in the process and grew from that. And so we would make that mistake as frequently in the future, but we still made some of those mistakes. But I would say, let your word be your word. If you can't do it, just tell them you can't do it. And if you don't know the answer, let them know you don't know the answer. There's been so many times where people, when we were that forthcoming, that they were saying, okay, well, if you can't do it or you're not, prepared, that's fine. At least you told us up front, and we didn't invest this money and resources. So yeah, let your word be your word is one of the biggest things that will build credibility in your brand long before any other thing that you do.
That threw me away right there. That's gold for today. Okay. That was gold. Your heart is equipping women for success. So what is one successful trait do you think that we should carry into our marriages? So for those who are married, because I'm not married, but what is one successful trait that you've seen work in your marriage?
Wow. I think for me, I've been married 16 years right now, as of now. Just had our 16th wedding anniversary a couple of months ago. Yeah. And I think the biggest trait is willing to be vulnerable. And I think as women, we have our super women capes at the ready. In my bag, I got one in the car. I got one in my purse. I got one in my desk. So whenever somebody needs something, I can pull it out and save the day. And I think in carrying that and living up to this quote unquote super woman, we got to be so strong. We got to be so independent. When we finally do get into that relationship, it's hard to kind of shake that. And I was just talking to a friend earlier, just because we're strong and just because we're independent does not mean we cannot embrace having a strong marriage in our life. And so being vulnerable and taking off the cape, that's the biggest trait I would say that women need to do. If it's the right man, if it's not the right man, that's a whole other conversation, because some men will take advantage of that type of vulnerability but it's a good, healthy marriage. I would encourage any woman to kind of let down that cape. And I'll be honest, it's kind of challenging for me at times because I have been so, in your face and I'll go after what I want regardless. I have to learn to balance some of that. And this girl, it is a balance at times.
Yeah.
But it's one that I enjoy. It's one that I look forward to. And it's one that, to be honest, my husband had to learn to kind of kind of bob and weave with me. And what I mean by that is, as women, I'll speak for me. For me, I need a man who's so strong that I cannot walk over him, okay? Because if I walk over him, we got another problem. My personality is, I'm just going to go and get it done. Yeah. So I need a man for me to say, you know what, babe, you're doing too much. Hold on, I got this. But he has to be so smooth to know when to let me fly and to know when to let me, do my thing. And it sounds crazy. A guy, when you tell it to a guy, they're like, wait a minute, do you want a man who's a leader or do you want somebody going to be a pusher? What do you want? And my husband had to learn, because it was hard for me to communicate that, but that I knew that's what I needed. And I needed my husband to see that. He was able to kind of figure that out, know when to push and know when to pull. But all of that was wrapped in me being vulnerable and saying, hey, this is what I need. This is what I need to really be here for you. I need you to hear me. I need you to support me. But I also, need you to say, hey, step back just a little bit and let me do this. And so vulnerability is the trait that I think most of us need to be comfortable with and enjoy. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing when you can be just so vulnerable in that space with the person who loves you for you. There's nothing like it that I can think of at this present time, but it's a beautiful thing. I think more of us need to embrace that.
Yes. Even as singles, vulnerability with ourselves and being honest about how we're feeling, what we're thinking at the moment, and being okay with that. I think it's something you have to learn before you get married. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I had to be real with myself. I had to be vulnerable with myself. Ramunda, you may not be able to do this right now. Or, if there were limitations, being okay with that and not trying to be superwoman and saying, I can do this and I can do that. It's okay to be strong. It's okay to be independent. But also be aware if you need to bring in somebody else to help you with something. A lot of times we'll just do it ourselves and then go in a corner and be crying that, it didn't work out or that, it failed or something. No, it's okay to get some help. And it's okay to reach out to people and grow in that way.
I love it. Can you share with us some of your daily practices that keep you grounded? I mean, you're a wife, you're a mom, you are on different boards, So what keeps you grounded and keeps you going?
All right. There's a few things. I think one is just really, getting up in the morning and reading my devotion. I have an app on my phone that I love, and it couples real world, Bible principles with scripture. And I love that. I need to know how can I apply this today? I can get all these these and thous and all that. Thank you, God, for those. But how does this really apply to me right now, today? How can I process that? So reading up and kind of, taking a moment to read my devotion and getting that quiet time before everybody else gets up is important to me. Something else I love, when I wake up, I immediately say thank you. I say it out loud. I know my husband is over there sleeping, but I just say thank you because I got to see it. I got to see today, even if it was, I don't know how long it would have been, but at that moment, I'm very grateful. I'm very aware that so many, many, many other people did not get to wake up and see this day. So I say thank you audibly. I don't say it to myself. I say it out loud because I need my outer ear to hear it as well, that I am grateful, that I am present, that I'm appreciated. So being thankful is something that I practice every day. And then the last thing is when I'm driving, when I'm finally in my car and dressed and going to the office, I really, really, really look at, and it sounds maybe kind of hokey to some people, but I really pause and I really want to see the green in the trees. I really, really want to see the blue in the clouds. And I call it living in HD, high definition. I need to see that because oftentimes we're getting in our car, we may be texting, we're on the phone, and we've already passed, we've gotten from point A all the way to point E, and we've missed B, C, and D in between. We didn't see any of that. Have you ever done that? You've arrived at a destination and everything. I have done it too many times. Mm-hmm. And so now I try to catch myself and say, wow, look how beautiful this is. Look at the sun, feel the sun, and live life in HD, high definition, see it, and not let it pass me by. So those three things keep me grounded, keep me centered, keep me focused on just being appreciative and having a grateful spirit. And that's how I roll, honey.
Wow. I'm about to throw this laptop across the room. It's too good. What is the app that you use every day, if you don't mind sharing?
Sure. No, it's just the Bible app, and you can download plans. So there's a plan on marriage. There's a plan on faith. There's a plan on money. There's a plan on fear, on faith. So you download a plan, whatever reading plan you want. And each day is a real applicable devotion that you can read, and it's followed with scripture right after. And after you finish that day's plan, you get like a little check mark, and it'll show you've read if you finished 5 plans in a row, 20 plans a whole month. But you can download whatever food you need to be fed. There's a topic and a plan that they have in their database for it. So I love it. If I need something on fear, I'll type in fear and it'll pull me out a whole, plan for the whole week that I can follow. So yeah, the Bible app.
So some takeaways, guys, that I picked up. She is still the same girl, which I thought that was amazing because basically she's saying, this is who I've always been. So the awards just were a confirmation of what I already had within me. Your skin color is beautiful. No matter what it is, you are great enough as you are right now. What you don't see in your community, you can create. If you don't see it, you have to create it. It's your assignment to create it. Take the risk for what you believe in. And it's okay to, even if you're afraid, you have to go ahead and do it. Cultivate your following. Build your email list. Look for partnerships. If you are looking to open up a brick and mortar, these are a couple things to consider. Also, don't give your word if you can't honor it. That was gold. It is okay to be vulnerable and look for ways to live in HD every day. Every day that you're here, taking the beauty of what it is that you see around you. Thank you so much. I'm going to do some rapid soul questions for you. So the first things that come to your mind, just blurt it out. Okay. Who is one person that you admire?
My husband.
Oh, the last song you listened to?
The last song I listened to it's called Let's Start, I believe, by Fela Kuti. Man, the drums, the energy, the musicality get me pumped up. I just feel so much closer to my roots. So yes, Let's Start by Fela.
What is one product besides your phone that you must use every single day?
Oh, honey, my lip gloss. I love it. Love lip gloss.
Yes, to the lip. The lips have to be on point.
That's right.
If you could go to dinner with anyone, who would it be?
It would be, and pardon me if I'm mispronouncing her name, Bozama St. John. She was an Uber executive, and I think she's now the chief marketing officer for Endeavor. I would go to dinner with her. Her fierceness and insight to business really excite me. So, and she can balance being a mom with just so many a range of commitments. So I think Bozama, forgive me if I'm pronouncing her wrong.
Yeah. I'm about to definitely Google her and see.
Oh yeah, she's amazing. Follow her on Instagram.
What's one book you believe everyone should read?
Assata. It's about Assata Shakur. Powerful.
What are you looking to do next, and how can we support you?
You know what? So, like you mentioned earlier, I own Mahogany Books with my husband in DC. And so, your listeners or just spread the word. We're always excited to meet people from all over the United States who come to DC, and on their visit, they make it an intentional stop to see us. So spreading the word, we're proud to have a book that focuses on books written by and about people of the African diaspora. So support online, tell other people about it. And then my other hat as a speaker, I love impacting colleges and university students and equipping them, with tools to be successful in leadership. And so if you are looking for a dynamic speaker who is just excited and passionate about students, then I would love to make that connection and see how I can help impact students in other places.
I love it. You are amazing. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. My pleasure. Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be part of your podcast.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
You too.
My hope is that your soul just went on a vacay and you have tools that you can apply to your life today. I love your feedback, so make sure you subscribe and email your questions by clicking on the link in the show notes. I'll talk to you soon.